Have you ever read a research paper and wondered, how did they figure that out? Or maybe you're a medical student, resident, or IMG who wants to get involved in research but feels overwhelmed by all the different study designs. Well, here's some good news. One of the easiest and most commonly used research designs in medicine is something called a cross-sectional study. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what it is, when it's used, its strengths, its limitations, and why it might be the perfect first research project for you. So if you're interested in medical research, publications, or building a stronger residency application, stay until the end because I'm also going to share practical ways IMGs can use cross-sectional studies to get published. Let's get started. Let's start with a simple analogy. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a busy hospital cafeteria and you take a photograph. That picture captures everything happening at that exact moment. Let's see what's happening in our office. Here's who is eating, who is studying, who is using their phone,
and who is talking with colleagues.
Stay productive. But you can't tell what happened before the photo was taken or what happens afterward. That's exactly how a cross-sectional study works. Researchers collect data from a population at a single point in time. It's essentially a snapshot of a population. Instead of following people for years, researchers gather information once and analyze it. For example, you survey 500 medical students today and ask about their sleep habits and burnout levels. That would be a cross-sectional study. It captures a snapshot, but not changes over time. The key idea is simple. It tells us what's happening right now. There are several reasons researchers love this study design. First, it's fast. Unlike studies that require years of follow-up, data collection often happens only once. Second, it's relatively affordable. You don't need large budgets, extensive infrastructure, or long-term participant tracking. Third, it's beginner-friendly. This is one reason many medical students and IMGs choose cross-sectional studies as their first research project. And finally, they can include large numbers of participants through surveys, questionnaires, hospital records, or public health databases. In today's research environment, where time and resources are limited, these advantages are huge. Let's look at some examples you may have seen in journals. Researchers might study, in our city, about 30% of adults have hypertension. Burnout affects 40% of resident physicians. 1 in 4 medical students experiences depression. 20% of healthcare workers smoke regularly. Only 60% of physicians know all vaccination guidelines. Notice a common theme. The researchers are measuring how common something is at a specific point in time. This is called prevalence. And estimating prevalence is one of the biggest strengths of cross-sectional studies. In fact, many public health policies are influenced by prevalence data generated through these studies. Cross-sectional studies help identify patterns and associations. For example, researchers may find that healthcare workers who sleep less report higher burnout, or that smokers have higher rates of hypertension. These findings are useful for identifying possible relationships, but they do not prove cause and effect. A common mistake is assuming that association experience more burnout. We cannot conclude that lack of sleep causes burnout. Burnout might lead to poor sleep, or another factor such as workload could influence both. Because exposure and outcome are measured at the same time, we cannot determine which came first. That's why researchers use terms like associated with or linked to instead of causes. Cross-sectional studies are often ideal for beginners because they are faster, less expensive, and easier to conduct than clinical trials or long-term studies. They can be performed using online surveys, questionnaires, public datasets, or hospital-based assessments. For many IMGs, these studies provide an excellent entry point into research. They help overcome burnout and research barriers. And they build skills for residency applications, while raising healthcare awareness. The cross-sectional study provides a snapshot of a population at a single point in time. It is useful for measuring prevalence and identifying associations, but it cannot establish cause and effect relationships. If you're a medical student, resident, or IMG looking to begin your research journey, this is one of the best study designs to start with. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.